which was a open stage spoken word and dance event produced by my company, Broken Road Performing Arts, and the Contact Theatre in Manchester, where it was held. It was also part of the Manchester Literature Festival that year, which was 2011, took place on October the 14th. Now I'll tell you a little bit about how the idea came about. As many of you know, I myself am a dancer, I'm a hip hop dancer. I've taken part in Contact's mixed movement many times before. Mixed movement is run by Dawn Crandall, who is a fantastic dance artist. It's a regular event at Contact, happens every month. What mixed movement does is bring dancers together in sort of a dance open mic night, if you will. And I believe it came about because Dawn was conscious that there was, while she was living in New York, she was conscious that there was lots of open mic nights for poets, there was lots of open mic nights for singers and bands, but there was nothing kind of in that arena for dancers, so she thought she'd set one up herself. When she moved over to England, she brought mixed movement with her. And taking part in mixed movement was a fantastic thing for me. It was actually the first thing that I did kind of under the name of Broken Rose, and really kind of opened quite a few doors for me. I've done it a few times, and what happens basically is dancers perform duets randomly. Their names are pulled out of a hat as to who goes with who and in what order. And these duets are improvised to improvised music, which is provided by usually by DJ Irfan and Baba Israel, the artistic director of Contact Theatre. Now, after doing it a few times, I noticed every now and then Baba would drop a little bit of rap or spoken word in, which was brilliant, and it really got me thinking that rap and spoken word has come to have such a rhythm to it. Both dance and spoken word are so heavily ingrained in hip-hop culture. Why not officially bring the two together in an event or in a show? And then I thought, let's take it a step further. It needn't be hip-hop, it needn't be your quintessential hip-hop rap, or it needn't be just hip-hop dancers who are involved. Let's get contemporary dancers involved, let's get physical theatre performers involved, let's get poets as opposed to MCs. I wrote a proposal for a show that was originally called Slam, and I approached, first of all, Kathy Bolton at the Manchester Literature Festival with the idea. She really liked the idea, and we both thought that Contact Theatre, with its reputation in kind of that arena, the hip-hop young people's arena, was it meant that it was the most appropriate venue for the show. So I then took it to Baba Israel, and very quickly I was surprised to get a reply saying he'd like to talk about it. We had a few meetings around the idea, and it evolved, as many of these things do, and eventually the name of the show got changed to Flow. Slam felt very much like it was referring specifically to slam poetry, and we wanted a name that kind of encompassed both the movement and the words, and Flow seemed to do that. So once we got a date for the show, we put out a call for artists and waited for people to apply, really. The show was split up into 3 sections. The first section was a duet section, very much like mixed movement, but it would be a poet and a dancer would be paired up. Again, pulled out of a hat, which that night actually ended up being my smelly boot. The whole idea of it, or my aim of it really, was not to just have, there's a poet performing there and a dancer performing there. I wanted them to not only respond to each other, but to interact. All of the dancing was completely improvised. Much of the poetry was completely improvised, or if not, something was chosen on the spur of the moment, mainly with regards to what DJ Irfan was playing, so there was also spontaneous music as well. We had some really quite amazing results from that first section. The first couple to perform was a dancer called Sarah and a poet called Dominic Berry, who's doing very well in the circuit these days.
There's a thin arm, open hand, rat tail fingers, money fans, wants to soothe your aching heels. He understands how your pain feels. A careful grin on Shadow's cheek offers comfort. Here's a seat.
Dominic did a poem about fear, and Sarah really managed to encompass with her movement exactly what Dominic was saying. It was the highlight of the show for me. It really was, and such a fantastic opening, which is something I really needed when there were so many people there in the crowd watching and waiting expectantly to figure out what was going to happen.
When you're lonely, hope starts burning. Cover your neck. Resist the glowing. A thin arm stretched forward could pull a faltering one toward a gorge of claws when sourcing sharp. That voice plucks like a distant heart. That melody can hook in ears. A life-choked memory re-clears like littlest love uncapped by fears. A desperate smile appears. And with the hollow of tomorrow so far away, the future can be forfeit for unhappy today. Just one thread of colour in a desert of grey. A curse of come what may. This demon waiting for the meek will promise anything you seek. Knows all the perfect words to speak. Show you're not weak. Strong. Walk. On. Watch. Toes. Point. Home. When you're lonely, hope starts burning. Cover your neck. Resist the glowing.
We then had 2 other duets, one of which included myself. A very interesting experience for me because it was completely different from the experience that I had at Mixed Movement, where you were just responding to the music. Knowing that I wanted my dancers to respond and really interact with the actual poet and the actual words that were coming out without actually knowing what was coming out before it did. You're constantly guessing, both as a dancer and a poet, if you're a poet, what the dancer is going to do next, and if you're a dancer, what the poet's going to say next. It did, for me, involve a little bit of a bit more of a warm-up time, if you see what I mean, until you really got into, okay, this they've got it now.
Maybe just insulting you, or just using it, reaching, as we touch what is unknown. The spirits grow as we roll, and we go. We keep on rolling on, and we keep flowing on. We keep on falling down. It doesn't matter, because we just keep going with our plan. We just flatten any opposition. This is our mission. Don't care if we don't have a proper pissing, but we just kicking that flow, that freestyle, anything we just go, and meanwhile we just keep on holding our heads up. Yes, if we drop down, then we get up, or we don't even regret it. Don't even care if we just this without pressure, but we just drop it. Don't need to stop it for any given topic, but we just keep going, moving to the sound and just get down and dirty. Don't care if I do this till I'm 30 or 40, but we just go on talking or just roar.
It was very much an experiment as a show, which was something that I stressed at the beginning. It had never been done before, and it was something I really wanted to try out and see, okay, does this work? Because Broken Rose, one of our foundations is that we want to bring all of the performing arts together, because my personal feeling is that they shouldn't be separate, they shouldn't be segregated. We are all performers and we should work together to create new ways of experiencing art. Our third performance was interesting as well, and actually got quite saucy at times. That was by a dancer called Katie and a poet called Indigo.
Maybe I can go faster, or maybe it's a bung in the arms and attachment. No, I'm kind of distracted so that won't really work, but no, it's going to work now, because we work together in this body and this flow, and we kind of can join it together like twins, no twins like no twins. Let's slow this like the yin to the yang. How about the gun to the bang to the bang to the boom? Let's echo through the room. Gonna keep this flow going.
The whole show was an experiment, so of course every experiment comes with things that didn't work, and for me personally the second section didn't quite come off as well as I wanted it to. The second section was a group performance, everybody kind of freestyling together as a group. The poets sort of acted on a kind of tag team basis, whereas the dancers came and left the stage as felt right to them. However, for me personally, watching the video back and for me performing as well, it didn't quite feel right.
Okay, let's keep it tight, the dance. No, we don't want a nice team fight. Yo, nope, no flowing below the belt. Just let your hips melt to the sounds, to the rhythm and the bass and the treble. Rock it like a rebel, rock it like the devil. Underworld, give them hell. Yes, baby, baby, yes. Make it sound, make it move. To the stage. Give them a bit of a rave.
I really think there's something in that experience between two people that makes it so unique, and maybe that is why the group performance didn't quite work. So I feel like I really learned from that experience, which is a really, really positive thing for me. Section 3 was really interesting. Section 3 was where I actually pulled people out of the audience to have a go themselves. And again, it's an idea that came from Mixed Movement. I had no idea what to expect. I knew that we'd invited a lot of other dancers and spoken word artists. I didn't know whether they were going to volunteer or not. It was anyone's guess what was going to happen. But actually, a young girl volunteered to do some poetry out of the audience. She read a poem out of her phone, and she was absolutely unbelievable. And a very, very young boy came out as well. He couldn't have been older than 10 years old, and he came to dance with her, and it was wonderful to watch, really, really wonderful to watch. And actually the girl afterwards said that she'd never done it before, she'd never performed any of her poetry before, so it was really, really lovely to have her experience that because of one of Broken Rose's events, and that was really, really beautiful moment there.
Sitting, waiting, wishing, wondering what were we really waiting for? Something better, something worse, something we believe is a curse. Never knowing that life grows different courses, never knowing we have different choices. The time to realise fate is never easy, and the concept of destiny is always cheesy. Questioning, does fate exist? Does everything happen for a reason? Or are we just defining things for superficial in denial beliefs? Why do we need to know the meaning of life or how our life came to be? Does it affect our living, who we are, who we aspire to be? The world challenges our perceptions to make us question, but in truth there are no answers that won't pose another question. Experience and influence affects our being, and that's what shapes the aspiration of the future. Nothing more, nothing less than that is pretend, no fucking bullshit. Just live life as it comes the way you want to live it, and not by dictating the things around you that hold no for existence.
With the idea, but I can't tell you much yet about exactly what we're going to do with that, but hopefully in 2012 we will see perhaps a future version of Flow, or something that has come from what we learnt from the experience. Even though some of it didn't quite work, the idea in general, we feel that bringing spoken word and dance together, and music of course as well, it is a really, really beautiful new idea, so we're going to be working on that in the future, so